colleges across the country are now taking emergency actions to try to protect their students. This one's sobering, and this one, it's close to home for me. USC, University of Southern California, where I am a law professor, is advising its foreign students to return to campus from winter break before Trump takes office, or else you may never get to go back to school ever again. And again, I'm teaching there next semester. Let me just show you this report from local news channel 4. Let's play it.
Professor Niels Frenzen is the co-director of the USC School of Law's Immigration Clinic. He says the clinic, along with USC's Office of International Services, is advising international students who plan to travel outside the U.S. to get back to campus before President-elect Trump is sworn in on January 20th. The president-elect has indicated he might bring back a travel ban similar to the one imposed when he took office in 2017, when people from several majority Muslim countries were denied entry into the United States. Concern about new travel restrictions come Inauguration Day prompted the email, with USC having the most international students of any school in California. Those students are being advised to carry their travel documents with them and to make sure they're up to date. Other schools have issued similar travel advisories to its international students, including MIT and the University of Massachusetts.
We're seeing this around the country right now as well. Harvard, for example, reversing decision on international student housing over winter break, allowing students to stay. Students expressed outrage, and this is not just at Harvard, we're seeing this across the country. This is an example of that. Students expressed outrage at the university after it initially rejected dozens of international students' applications to stay on campus over the break. And look, folks, one of the things that the United States benefits from is our robust higher education system here attracts foreign talent. That foreign talent often stays here in the United States and helps fuel industry. I mean, we're ultimately going to be repelling future generations of people that could help bring money to the United States here. In addition, we're seeing how these MAGA Republican policies and Trump policies are impacting students in other ways. Major issues also, women's reproductive rights on college campuses. And one of the things we're learning as well, bodies are piling up in GOP-led states, are hiding abortion-related death tolls, especially in red states right now. We're also hearing a bunch of stuff like this. I don't love reporting on the F around, find out stuff, but here's an example. My 50-year-old nephew is a federal worker. He got 2 girls in college and has a big mortgage. He's now worried about his job. He voted for Trump. Hashtag Trump, hashtag moron. My friend David Schuster says the following. Trump has now reaffirmed his plan to eliminate the U.S. Department of Education. That's right. Schuster wrote that on November 11th, but yesterday, one of the things that the DOJ committee talked about, especially MAGA Republican Virginia Fox, was chanting it when Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy came to Capitol Hill and just spoke to Republicans, not Democrats, is they're going to get rid of the Department of Education, destroy, dismantle the Department of Education. And as Schuster says, for the record, that department funds, among other things, all the special education and special needs programs in public schools and public colleges in all 50 states. Pam Keith explains, since the Department of Education is going away, how do kids that require federal student aid pay for college? Pell Grants are gone, Head Start is gone, special ed funding is gone, school lunches are gone. I'm just curious about Plan B for everyone, or as Donald Trump would say, his concepts of a plan. The current Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona, says, if you support eliminating the Department of Education, you do not support our students, period. Because the U.S. Department of Education funds students with disabilities, rural students, so all those red state voters literally voting against their ability to get education. But I guess when you've got states like Oklahoma, they're bragging about replacing their history books with the Bible, which, by the way, you want to have your Bible? Just do it in church, do it in private. You don't do it in a public school. It's separation of church and state. I guess not anymore. Programs that make college affordable, supported by the Department of Education. This would be bad for students and bad for America. Our friend Jessica Tarlov on Fox, she's on the show The Five. She's talking about this as well. She's saying, so you're going to this Doge, you're going to cut the Department of Education, you're going to cut Social Security, you're going to cut Medicare. And then like the people in the crowd are booing. It's unclear. Like, are you booing at those programs? Are you booing at them being cut? Like, what are these MAGA audience members from Fox even booing at here? Here, play this clip.
Really? If you're going to cut that much money, you're going to the Pentagon and you're going to Social Security and Medicare. And those are things, at least in terms of the entitlements, that Donald Trump boo. Right, you like those programs. Yep. I love having an audience.
Also, students now have to worry about Donald Trump rolling back all of Biden's student debt relief, the Trump transition team, and implementing Project 2025 are discussing ways to quickly unwind all of the Biden-era initiatives that offer new or easier paths to loan forgiveness for borrowers, according to two people familiar with those discussions. Let me just share this with you as well. This is a good primer on what the Department of Education does and what will get eliminated. Let me give a shout out to Sari Beth Rosenberg. Give her a follow on TikTok. Give her a follow on social media platforms. Thought she put together a very good video here. And so if you're wondering, like when Trump is saying, I'm bringing in Linda McMahon, right, the WWE co-founder who's been sued for covering up sex assault allegations, and she denies those allegations. So there she is right there in all of these weird kind of WWE videos where she's like getting assaulted by men. It's all things very strange. She's Donald Trump's head of Secretary of Education, Secretary of the Department of Education, and their goal is to shut it down. And so what does that mean for you? Well, take a look at this. Here, play this clip.
My name is Sari Rosenberg, and I want to disrupt Project 2025 because of the disastrous effect that it's going to have on public education in America. As you've probably heard, the plan is to end the U.S. Department of Education. A lot of people don't even know what the U.S. Department of Education does. It actually does a lot more than you think. It's a lot, so I'll try to make it quick. For one, it's going to lead to the cut of Title I funds. This could eliminate 72,000 teaching positions. It's going to lead to larger class sizes. That means reduced individualized attention for students who are struggling the most. And you know that achievement gap we talk about? It's going to widen and widen. It's also going to hurt students with disabilities, reducing services, teachers, aides, and this will just increase the burden on families to provide or pay for necessary accommodations. It's also going to potentially hurt the Pell Grant system. And that basically means that fewer low-income students will be able to afford college. It's also going to lead to weakened civil rights enforcement in schools, hurting minority and LGBTQ plus students. It'll reduce protections against bullying and harassment. It could lead to potential resegregation of schools in some areas. It's also going to potentially hurt rural and small town communities. With the loss of federal oversight and support, they could potentially see decreases in funding for technology and infrastructure improvements, and of course, fewer resources for teacher recruitment and retention. You're also going to see a lot of job loss for teachers, especially in areas where they're needed the most. And teachers are going to have to spend more money out of pocket for classroom supplies. Because federal student loans and grants will see a cut, you'll see decreased enrollment, especially at smaller colleges and universities. They're going to lose funding. It's going to also have a disproportionate impact on HBCUs and minority serving institutions. The U.S. Department of Education also collects data nationally. This data is used to identify and address systemic educational issues and just fix the education system across the board. And how this is going to affect families and people across the country is they're going to potentially have to pay for the loss of funds, and local taxes could go up. And you're also going to see greater disparities in educational quality between the wealthy and the poor areas of this country. This is going to affect our nation's overall educational competitiveness across the globe.
I think that video is a good primer. And here is Diane Ratfit just explaining a little bit of who Linda McMahon is. Here, play this clip.
Well, I had to learn about her because she is not someone who's been engaged in the field of education at all. She led the Small Business Administration in the previous Trump term. President-elect Trump has a habit of choosing people who have either a desire to destroy the department or who have no experience. She falls into the latter category. She does not have any experience in education, although she spent 1 year on the Connecticut State Board of Education, but otherwise she's a businesswoman. She would have been well qualified to head the Commerce Department, and apparently that's the job she wanted. But her job now, according to Project 2025 and everything that Trump has said, is to eliminate the Department of Education. She is not qualified to run the department because she doesn't know anything about it. And it's hard to say whether or not Congress will go along with the president's desire. He cannot single-handedly abolish the Department of Education. This is something that has to be done, if at all, by Congress.
So again, I'm a professor at USC Law School. I'm teaching next semester there. And, you know, I know that, you know, my job and my students there are going to be impacted. I've got some incredible international students, you know, also the students who rely on a lot of these programs as well. So, you know, all of the stuff hits near and dear to me. And all I'm going to tell you is we're going to keep on fighting for you each and every day. We'll be on the front lines. We'll be doing everything we can to be with you every step of the way to push back. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers.
Real quick, Meta just changed their algorithm to suppress political content. Please follow our Instagram at MeidasTouch right now as we head towards 400,000 followers so you don't miss a beat.